Today we are going to cover the maintenance tool for M&P series equipment. The maintenance tool itself is an interface USB connection cable that includes four, we call them dongles, that would plug into an outdoor unit's control board. Depending on the type of the unit, they are labeled A, D, B, C, and P. They work on any M series one-to-one system, any MXZ multi-zone ported type, and all the P series units. The part number, if you do not already have one of these, but would like to purchase one, the part number that you would order is the Mike 21 Echo Charlie 0397. It consists of what you see, the USB connection and interface, this part right here. In fact, let me get my little spotlight going. This part right here, and the four dongles. In order for you to use this, you're going to need to go to mylinkdrive.com and download the software. If you already have it, the software works. Make sure you have the most up-to-date version. If you don't have an update version, this thing updates every couple of months. New features added every time. So if you don't have this, you would navigate to mylinkdrive.com, USA Products, find the software tab, click on software, go down and find maintenance tools. Maintenance tool version number 5.48 is the most current one on Link Drive. Download the software. Once you've downloaded it, open up the file folder. It's going to be a zip file. Before you install it, you must extract everything in the folder. So highlight the folder as I've shown here and click the Extract All tab or extract whatever your particular Windows layout looks like, and extract the file. Once it is extracted, it will ask you, as you do this, where you want it to go. By default, it's going to go into a folder on your C drive and your downloads drive. And once it is extracted, open the extracted file. Click on the M&P Tool file, open that up. It's going to have two files within it. One is a PDF of the manual of the maintenance tool, and the other one is the actual software. Double-click the setup and install the file. Say yes to everything, and once it finishes installing, you should have an icon on your desktop that looks like this and says maintenance tool for .NET. The manual is a 460-some page PDF document that explains everything you need to know about the maintenance tool and can keep you busy reading for quite a while. Once you've opened, you're going to need to open the manual with this particular tool. This interface is not manufactured by Mitsubishi. It is a third-party interface that allows you to communicate to the equipment and can read the data files. In order for it to properly work, you're going to need two more files. One of them is this ftprog file. On page 10 of the PDF of the manual is a link to the website where you can download that file. And make a note that you must also have Microsoft.NET Framework version 4.0 or later. If you try to use the maintenance tool and you don't have that, you're going to get a pop-up box that tells you you're missing it. The only place you can get that from is from Microsoft's website. So if you just Googled in your search bar, Microsoft.NET Framework version 4, it should bring you straight to the website. So open the manual and click on this link, www.ftdichip.com, support and utilities. That is, and again, that's on page 10. That's going to bring you to a website, utilities, and you're going to click on this FT Prog option and download that software by clicking here. Once that gets installed, that is the installing software for the actual driver for the tool, which you then have to go to page 13 and find this link for the drivers for this tool. You will then click this link and it will bring you to another website. It's going to give you this error code 404, oops, page can't be found. But on the same page, if you look up here in the menu bar, there is one that says drivers. If you open that up, you will find the D2XX drivers option. Open that up, and you're going to download this first option for Windows Desktop 2.12.36.4. Get that installed, and then the tool will work. If you don't install those two files, it's not going to work. Another thing that you guys should do to allow tech support to help you if you're not fully versed in how the maintenance tool works and what you can do with it, also install on your computer from teamviewer.com the free personal use version of TeamViewer. The tech support gurus here at Gensco have the licensed version, so you will not be penalized and have to buy that. As long as one of us is licensed, we can have unlimited tech support sessions. But if you're having trouble, especially with the software, contact tech support, set up a time for someone to do a TeamViewer session with your computer, and we can get that fixed for you. We can even give you the software that you need to make this work. It's also going to be great if you're out on a job site and you want tech support. If you can connect to Wi-Fi somewhere so that TeamViewer will work, we can dial into your computer, we can see your screen, and we can help you navigate the software and understand what it is you're looking at when you connect to the unit, if you don't already have experience. Like I said, Maintenance Tool is a fantastic service tool, but it takes a lot of face time and seeing a bunch of different issues for you to become fairly versed in diagnosing what it is you're looking at or what you're looking for. So again, teamviewer.com is also a software that you guys should have if you want tech support help. In the manual, once you get this tool and you have the software all set up and you're ready to go, in the back of the manual, here you see page 434, are the connection types and all the model numbers, relay cable, AD or B, the connector on the board, CN606. It could also be 806. So you see all kind of model numbers. You're going to need to know which cable to use, which plug to plug in on the board. One thing that I can say is the connector is only going to plug into one socket on the board. It's the only one it's going to fit. But look for something that says CN606, 806, or 861. This is an example of plugging in a P series unit. It is a connector at the top of the board, a socket labeled CNMNT. You can see I'm using the blue cable, the P cable here, plugged into my dongle. When you are ready to do a TeamViewer, with a maintenance tool session on the unit, you will turn off power to the unit, plug the device into your computer, and plug it into the socket on the board. You'll then open the maintenance tool software. And for this P-series unit, as I'm going to show you in this example, you would select the USB serial conversion cable option on the first screen. Then select the P-series unit. If your device and driver is working for your device, you should see something in this drop-down box on the right-hand side that gives you the COM port that it is using, and it should say in parentheses USB. If when you first open this up, you do not see this on the right-hand drop-down box, click the arrow, open the drop-down box, and see if it's further down in the list. Make sure that it shows up in this box or the tool is not going to work. So select the P-series, make sure it says COM USB on the right-hand side, and click the select button at the bottom. You're going to see a screen that looks like this as it starts to monitor the system. At this point, it's going to tell you to turn the unit on. When you see this, this is when you turn power onto the unit, and it's going to take, it could take up to a minute for it to recognize the unit and actually show you some information. And it's going to say now connecting to P-series. The wheels are going to roll. And after a short time, at this point, you should have the screen pop up and give you some data. This is what the data screen looks like for a P-series unit. You've got in the upper right corner, you see a little box that has a 1/1. The number on the far right is the total minutes of time that you have been monitoring this unit, and the box on the left is the current minute of those total minutes. That will start totaling up minutes. It takes a snapshot of what's going on in the system every 60 seconds. So you will see the minutes begin to pile up. And at any time while you're live monitoring this equipment, you can use the backward and forward keys to go back and look at data from 2 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, or if it's you've been monitoring long enough, hours ago or days ago. As long as you have it hooked up to the system, it will continue to record data. And don't worry about running out of space. This software actually does not take up very much space on your computer. You could record months of data in reality, even years, on a system like this. So what are we looking at on the screen here? This information that says indoor info and TO. This is my indoor equipment. The TO is your set point. The TH1 is the return air or the thermostat temperature, depending on what you set function number 2 to. If you hook up a thermostat to a P-series unit and most M-series units, anything but the wall mounts or the ceiling cassette one-ways, you're going to set function 2 to number 3 if you want to control from the thermostat. If that was done in this case, then that TH1 temperature is the temperature at the thermostat. If it was not done, then that is the return air temperature. You've also seen 2 pipe temp sensors on the indoor unit, TH2 being the temp sensor on the inlet of the coil or outlet of the coil, depending on mode. That would either be liquid line in heating, or that would be inlet evaporator in cooling. And TH5 temp sensor is on your gas line, hot gas in heating or suction gas in cooling. You've also got some other information. The rest of this refers to the outdoor unit. You've got compressor hertz, which is a frequency, and in this case, it is frequency of the compressor spinning. That does not refer to electrical hertz. It roughly correlates to the compressor's revolutions per second of speed. So if that said 60, then 60 times 60 is 3,600 RPM. That would be the speed of the compressor there. The fan is going to show in stages from 1 to 10, 1 being, say, 10% of its speed, 10 being 100% of its speed. Then you've got the outdoor unit information like temp sensors on the far right side. And if you want to know where those temp sensors are located in the system, I would refer you to the service manual for that particular unit that you're working on, which shows you the location of all the temp sensors like TH4. That's the compressor discharge line. If there is also a TH33, it will be mounted to the top shell of the compressor itself. There is a TH6 or 32 here in the suction line. There is also a temp sensor over here on the coil, TH3 and TH6, and then your outdoor temp sensor, TH7. So if you want to know where those are physically located in the unit, you're going to have to refer to the service manual for this unit. In the manual, page 432, you will find what some of these things mean or what all these acronyms refer to. The manual has in the back end a list of every model number of Mitsubishi unit or type of system and what all the acronyms stand for. This is the one for P series. You'll find it on page 32. This is just a sample of all the data that can be displayed. And this is for M series equipment. This is on page 433 of the manual. Let me back up a minute. Anytime you are reviewing the data, this help tab at the top of the screen, if you click the help tab, it will open up the PDF of the manual while you are viewing this. So if you want to go see what some of these things mean, click the help tab and then go find these page numbers. They're going to be towards the back end, 432 for P series and 433 for M series. Now that is a P series unit. They're pretty straightforward. Just remember to plug into the board with power off, and when you start the maintenance tool and it asks you to turn the power on, at that point is when you turn it on. Now on an M series unit, you follow the same procedure, but in this case, you're going to select, instead of P series, you will select the M series type unit and make sure again, you have something showing in this drop-down box that says a COM port and USB. You'll open the maintenance tool software by clicking select. You'll select the M series option and then click select, but M series are going to be different than P series. All P series units pretty much show the same thing, but M series units, there's a huge variety in them. So when you select M series units, you're going to get this other box that pops up. You have to click the drop-down box that shows model numbers and search for your particular unit's model number in the drop-down box. In this example, an SUZ KA18. Once you select that, you're going to have the screen here that says turn on power to the unit. At this point, you turn on power. The unit should begin searching for the equipment. You'll see this box that says now monitoring if this is successful. It will then open up an M series data screen. Now, this is really common that you're going to select a model number that you're working on, and you're going to find that the numbers here don't make any sense. It's impossible to have a discharge temp of 1,000 degrees. And all my coil temps are reading 129, and the unit's not even running. If you see this, and again, this is common, just come up here to the little green man running backwards, click him and start over. Reselect the same data to start and have it monitor again. You don't have to close the maintenance tool all the way down to do this. Just go back to that original screen, change the model number, or select the same model number again, which I did in this case, and the second attempt showed me valid numbers. These numbers look way more valid. I got this unit running. This was an MUZ FH12 in our training room last week. And here it is showing 3 minutes of operation, the upper right-hand corner. Discharge temp, my indoor coil temps, my room temp. M series units do not show you set point. They're going to show you the difference from the room temp to the set point. In this case, the set point is almost 5 degrees lower than the room temp. You also see information in M series units where the first three rows pertain to the outdoor unit and the bottom row is what's pertaining to the indoor unit. I've got my two coil temp sensors, the return air temp sensor, my LEV opening position, and my fan speed code, 0 to 5. If it's not running, it's going to say 0. My outdoor unit has temp sensors, ambient temp sensor, my defrost temp sensor. One of the great things about the maintenance tool is instead of you pulling all these sensors out and ohming them out when you want to check them, you just keep the unit off and you look at the temp sensors. Leave it off for 10 minutes and see if they pretty much read the same thing. Especially the indoor temp sensors, they should all line up with the room temp. The outdoor unit temp sensors should all line up with the exception of the temp sensor on the compressor discharge temp. That one, because of crankcase heating, is always going to read higher number. And again, this unit is operating in this view. If you connect to a multi-zone ported unit, you're going to see a bunch of boxes, and they're going to line up top to bottom in order of the ports. The top section is port A. This is a 3C30. The second section is port B, and the bottom section is port C. And if you had a 5C42 unit, you would have 5 of these boxes. One thing to keep in mind, especially on these multi-zone units, you're going to see the outdoor unit information appear in the first 3 boxes, and it's going to repeat in every one of these boxes. So if you're looking at this view, the first 3 rows of each box are going to be pretty close to the same values because it is the same values. It's only the bottom row of each one that's going to really be something different because it corresponds strictly to that indoor unit. So here again, you see outdoor unit information, discharge temp, target discharge temp, defrost temp, ambient temp, my outlet coil temp, compressor frequency in spinning. Again, that refers to basically revolutions per second. My amp draw on the unit, my outdoor fan speed, my indoor coil temps, room temp, and the difference from room temp to set point, LEV opening, and the fan speed code. Now that, in a nutshell, is what you're going to be looking at when you open the data up, and the differences between P and series and M series is pretty big. Now, what are you going to use it for? Well, diagnostics, looking for problems. In this example here, this is a 3-zone multi-zone unit that is cross-wired. And in this example, you see the bottom section, bottom unit here, port C unit that's wired to port C is operating. My fan speed is at 4. My LEV is open at 219 pulses. These are my coil temps and my room temp. Notice they're pretty much the same, which tells me I'm not getting any refrigerant flow here. And if I look at the unit up here on port A, it's not operating. The fan speed is at 0. The LEV is basically closed, but look at my coil temp sensors. They're reading less than 5 degrees. This unit is cross-wired. Even though this unit down here on C is wired to C, it's actually piped to A. All the refrigerant and this unit on A is actually piped to C because I'm opening the expansion valve on port C, which represents this bottom box. But all the refrigerant's going to this unit up here that is wired to port A. This is the easiest and fastest way to find units that are cross-wired that are multi-zones. And if any of you guys have experience with these multi-zone installs on the tech support side, we are pretty sure about 1/3 of all multi-zone installs get cross-wired. at the beginning. And some of them have gone as long as 2.5 years or 3.5 years before they're even discovered. This is another example of a system that was monitored that was having performance issues. It was not ever letting the compressor speed up very fast. By having the unit stop for 20 minutes and looking at the temp sensors, it became very obvious that this unit that is wired to port B has a bad temp sensor, because after 20 minutes off, it still read 120 degrees. When the other coil sensor read 65 and the room temp was 73. This was inhibiting the outdoor unit's operation because it was causing the compressor to go into a protection mode and slow down, which reduced the BTU output of the unit. So this is another example of using the maintenance tool and looking at data to come up with a diagnosis of what could be causing the problem. If you look at the box at the bottom that says port C, these values, when they line up like this, 32, 32, and 77, there is no unit wired to this port. So you're going to see default values for some of these sensors because they don't actually exist. So the unit will report what their base value is based on the algorithm. There was a 32 degree at 15K. This is a 77 degree at 10K sensor. So this was another example of using the tool to find a problem. We're in the past, and actually on this one, ohming the sensor out, checking the resistance on it, did not find it bad because it gave a decent value. But it obviously was bad because the unit was seeing it like this.
Is this downloadable on an iPad?
No, it's not. It must be a Windows-based program
And is it,
or device.
do we have to download the same stuff if we got the city multi? Is it a different set of downloads?
It's the same software, just a different interface tool.
So we would just need to buy the M&P stuff or the
M&P
MXC.
cable, right.
Okay. Sweet.
Anyone else? I think the most important thing to get across to you is those 2 files you need to download in addition to the maintenance tool software in order to make it work.
Hey, Rick, you said the full class was like an 8-hour video. Is there somewhere that we can download or watch the full 8-hour presentation on digging in?
Oh, no, that would be something we would set up. We don't have that class isn't being taught. We have done this in the past. We put it together ourselves, but it's not recorded in any way. The best choice for anyone out there who wants to get a better understanding is, again, having TeamViewer on your computer and call into tech support and let the tech support guys connect to your computer and navigate the system and narrate what's going on and why we think we have a problem. It's one way that you can take notes and learn from without spending a lot of time bumbling around in the dark.
Hey, Rick, aren't there videos on tech tips on how to use my link drive or how to use maintenance tool?
I know link drive's broken.
Well, now it is, but overall there's videos on tech tips, I think, for
well, how to get it hooked up, but not necessarily how to understand what you're looking at.
Got it.
That unfortunately takes FaceTime.
Well, as always, I appreciate your expertise and the explanations.
Well, thank you, Nathan. I think you'll see that I used one of your files there.
I thought I recognized that.
It was a good one. It was a good one for this class. All right, everyone. Thank you for attending, and we look forward to seeing you down the road.